everybody, my name is Dinogamerpey, and welcome back to Mystic Destinies, episode 3. Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope to God you guys are going to have a wonderful New Year's. And I can already see you guys starting up your New Year's resolutions, so let's get started. So anyway, we left off on chapter 2, so we're going to continue from there. And it's one of the 4 traditional elements that can be manipulated. Oh, by the way, before I actually fully start this chapter, I am going to be doing one chapter, an episode. So essentially there will be only 15 chapters. So there's 15 chapters, so there's going to be 15 episodes. And then I'm going to be doing a break from this game. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to be switching over to his story and then do however many chapters. I'm pretty sure it's 15. So another 15 chapters and then I'm going to be done with this game. The reason why I decided between picking only 2 of the characters is, 1, the game is ridiculously long, which the story is really good, like reading wise, it's really, really good. It's just there's so many chapters, but there's a reason for it, you know? Stories can't be finished in 3 chapters, and I understand that. I'm pretty sure a lot of readers understand that. Otherwise, they want to be good. But if you, but because they're so long, I'm gonna just do one story at a time. And I'm gonna be working on this one first, and then cut off from it, and then go back to this game. Because this game takes a long time. Anyways, sorry. I hope you guys enjoy the video. And it's one of the 4 traditional elements that can be manipulated. The 3 of us walked into the classroom together with the lesson already starting. Luckily for us, everyone seemed to be so engaged in listening to Professor Kazama that they don't notice us. There aren't that many seats left to choose from, but Tatsuya finds some empty ones closer to the windows. As I sit down, he and Takumi sit on either side of me. With water, however, Hikaru's eyes finally catch us. They dance from Tatsuya to me and then to Takumi, to whom he only briefly raises a single eyebrow. With water, there's also its other form, ice. Usually, you will see ice manipulation referred to as cryokinesis, especially in more scholarly circles. Highly skilled cryokinetics have been known to use some brilliant strategies to defeat their enemies, even those who use such opposing elements like fire. He glances at Tatsuya with a smile, and out of the corner of my eye I can see Tatsuya sit up straighter. And luckily for us, today we happen to have an excellent cryokinetic in class with us. Yukimura, would you come up here and do a quick demonstration for us? Tatsuya pulls himself up from his seat and makes his way to the front of the class. He stands next to the professor. After a moment's thought, he holds out his hands in front of him, as if he were holding something. I gasp at what I see. From Tatsuya's clasped hands, ice suddenly spikes out. It moves together rapidly into a single sleek form, a sword. So, for those of you who are anime freaks, or anime geeks, either way, the only one that's coming up to mind is Fairy Tail, with Gray Fullbuster, and his ice make magic, and how he does ice make sword. That's the only thing that I can connect, and how to make it look, or at least give a connection to what it could possibly look like. So, sorry. I had to stop. I had to think about that for a second. Or let's get that out. The ice blade glitters beautifully in the light. All the students stare at Tatsuya in amazement as he swings his sword around for demonstration. His moves are sharp and precise. And although the sword's edge looks blunt, the form itself is elegant, and I get the feeling Tatsuya is more than skilled enough to use it. Logically, I know Tatsuya wouldn't just attack anyone in this class, but even as he stands in a relatively relaxed pose, I can sense the danger that lies behind it. I've used this type of weapon many times to practice sparring with my grandfather. One of the ice key benefits is that in capable hands, it can become a literal and reliable weapon. Thank you for the excellent example, Yukimura. To form a functional weapon out of ice, it takes a lot of skill, and it takes even more to get into the desired shape. Now, out of those who are cryokinetics, would any of you like to try making something? Many hands go up, but I make no attempt to move. Knowing that I can't make ice, it seems rather pointless to try and volunteer. Even if I did volunteer, who knows what could happen? Besides, I'd rather find out whether I can do it somewhere private, somewhere I can't embarrass myself, or blow something up by accident. As I watched a focused Tatsuya help the other students practice, I realized that I'm actually quite surprised. I never would have guessed that he was the type to do any sort of physical work. Watching him swinging his sword around to demonstrate how to attack and defend with a sword, I end up trying to imagine how Tatsuya might actually look working out. Memories of how Tatsuya picked me up into his arms, how easily he carried me as he ran, fled into my mind. As soon as As soon as the thoughts come to the forefront of my mind, I can feel my cheeks heat up. No, stop! That's the last thing you need is to start imagining him without a shirt on or something. With my face burning up, I am immensely thankful that no one has noticed it. Except this fucker, who is a succubus, I bet. No, I'm kidding, I have no idea what he is. Already impressed with Tatsu, I see. Takumi grins wolfishly at me. He leans in just a little bit closer to me as he speaks. I spoke too soon. I ignore my own blushing face. He is clearly very skilled. I don't see why anyone would want to be impressed. He chuckles at my response, not looking very convinced. Am I really that easy to read? I try to hide my annoyance at how easily he seemed to see through me. For all he could know, maybe I was admiring Hikaru instead. I let out a quiet sigh. I wonder if you do Hikaru's story, if that's exactly what happens. Where he doesn't point out that you're impressed by he thinks that you're impressed by Tatsuya, but you're actually impressed by Hikaru being the all-powerful teacher. That would have been funny. Anyway, well, whatever. I try to focus on watching the rest of the students practice their ice magic as the best that I can. After the lesson ends, Tatsuya, Takumi, and I walk together out of class. I manage to wait until we're out of the elevator before my curiosity gets the better of me. I looked at Tatsuya as we walked down the hallway. So Yukimura, those ice weapons. I'm assuming that when you hold them, you don't feel the cold. You would be correct, although cold doesn't affect me in general. What about heat? Oh, guys, look, it's gonna rain. We both looked at Takumi, sorry, who stopped by one of the windows. He looks at the sky with a pout. I better hurry home. I need to prepare for a job I have to do later. If the ground is going to be slick, I'll need some additional gear. Gear? I'm confused at what Takumi is talking about. He's probably a delivery guy. But before I can ask, he gives us a quick wave goodbye and runs off, leaving only Tatsuya and I. Tatsuya doesn't show much of a reaction to Takumi, so I can only assume that it isn't unusual for him to just yell and run off like that. Meanwhile, I find it hard to get used to. There's something about Takumi that I can't quite put my finger on. He's so strange. As we walk, I feel like I'm on the edge of remembering where I might know Takumi from, and why he feels so familiar to me. He's probably your pizza guy. My phone goes off in my pocket, startling me out of my thoughts. I quickly pull it out to see Dad on the screen. Hello? Hey, sweetie, how are you? Good, is something wrong? No, I was just calling to ask if you can come down to the office tonight, if you're free. I like to have dinner with you and catch up. And I also like to talk to you about the business. He hasn't asked me down there in so long. Actually, hearing the question from my dad leaves me a little speechless. Of course, I'd love to. Since school started, I've been feeling a little lonely. Not that I would tell him that. But I'm more than happy to meet him. I don't even bother to hide the excitement from my voice, and I can hear Dad laugh at the other end of the line. Alright, I'll see you tonight then. Bye, Dad. As the phone calls As the phone call ends, I immediately turn to Tatsuya, who seems to have been patiently waiting for me to finish my call. Yukimura, it looks like you don't need to walk me home anymore. I need to go to the station. It might start raining any moment, though. That's fine. I'll just have to deal with it. I have to go to the station anyway, so we might as well walk together. I can help with the rain. Help? Well, I mean, if you insist. Does he mean by buy an umbrella or something? I could do that myself. He can be a little pushy sometimes. But still, it might be nice to not have to walk alone. Tatsuya leads the way out, and I follow him without further complaint. It's been a while since we left Hagiwara, and we're walking down a different road than usual. I look up at the skies that are threatening to spill at any moment. Maybe it's not going to rain after all. In a blink of an eye, the skies tear open and rain starts pouring down around us. I stop walking and sigh, dejected at the downpour. Beside me, I barely notice that Tatsuya has stopped walking. He reaches out his hand a little, feeling the raindrops as if he never felt rain before. This sucks. I thought we might have made it to the station before it started raining. Tatsuya says nothing, but closes his eyes and clenches his fists with deliberate motion. Yukimura, what are you? I watch as the rain directly around us turns to snow. Doing? The last part of the question falls out of my mouth, faint as a whisper. I stare up at the sky in amazement, all thoughts left behind. This is... No way! Oh my god, this is amazing, Tatsuya. I didn't know you could do something like this. Is he blushing? Oh, that's adorbs! Oh, he's blushing! I watch the gently falling snowflakes. I only get a short glimpse of the many different beautiful fractals before they quickly melt from the height of the pavement. I completely missed the last word because I accidentally hit the enter button too fast. Whoopsies. I can feel Tatsuya's quiet gaze on me while I admire the spontaneous snowfall. Because we can't draw too much attention, I need to keep the area of effect pretty small. So you better stay close to me. I apologize, this is as much as I can do. But we should be able to get by without anyone further away noticing since it's raining so hard. At least until we can get to a shop to buy some umbrellas. We continue walking along the road, so close that our arms and hands occasionally brush against each other. I marvel at the beautifully dancing snowflakes in our little snow flurry. I casually peek at Tatsuya, who's only looking ahead, anywhere but at me. The sweetness of what he did isn't lost on me. We're standing so close though. But I guess it can't be helped. Deciding to simply enjoy the snow while I can, I brush away any other thoughts. Isn't it cold? Like, hold on. I know the cold doesn't bother him, but what about her? Wouldn't it be bothering her? If it was me, if it went from rain and immediately to snow, I would have been like... Well, first of all, I've never encountered snow, so I wouldn't know if it's cold. But, like, I know it's cold, but, like, this, oh my god. I'm gonna stop talking. This is just making me sound stupid. Deciding to simply enjoy the snow while I can, I brush away any other thoughts. We make it to the station without any incident, though we talked more than usual along the way. The rain stopped before we even reached a shop to buy umbrellas, so in the end, we didn't get them. Although I didn't say anything about it, I feel a little disappointed when the rain stopped, because it meant the end of my private snow flurry. I glance at Tatsuya. I doubt it will ever come up again, but I did really appreciate it. It's probably one of the sweetest things someone's done for me. The air is filled with the sounds of the everyday hustle and bustle of people, coming in and out of the building at an almost constant stream. He stops in front of the station and turns to me, shifting his weight from one leg to the other. Tatsuya looks down at me, and somehow it feels like his dark blue eyes are trying to see into my very soul. Well, I'll see you later. He moves to leave, only to immediately stop and turn back around. He looks thoughtful as he quickly adds something. I'll call you later to explain today's lesson if you want. Oh, okay, sure. That would be helpful, thank you. Tatsuya gives me a short nod and strides off deeper into the station to catch his train. Left alone, I stare at his retreating back, feeling a strange heaviness in my chest. I shake my head, hoping to chase the strange feeling away from me. Not wanting to be late to meet my dad, I tear my eyes away from Tatsuya and finally make my move to catch my own train. Oh no, I hope I didn't miss it. With that thought in mind, I rush off through the crowds and hope I didn't have to wait for the next train. Having somehow managed to get into the train on time, I've entered the main building for Shinamuro Industries. When I enter the lobby, I am immediately greeted by the kind and gentle smile by the receptionist, Miss Moriano. Hello, Miss Shinamura. It's so good to see you again. Hello, Miss Moriano. It's really nice to see you too. It's been far too long. Dad asked me to come and meet him. Is he still busy? Miss Moriano nods slightly, her light brown hair swaying at the movement. Yes, I'm sorry, Miss Shinamura. One of her father's meetings ran over, so he now has one more meeting to attend before he's freed for the night. If you could wait for him, I'm sure he won't take too long. A stab of disappointment pops my previous enthusiasm. Oh, well, I guess it can't be helped. I mean, Dad is a busy man after all. I try to hide my negative feelings behind a smile. Okay, thank you for telling me, Miss Moriano. I'll just wait here into the lobby then. Of course, Miss Shinamura. I'll bring out some refreshments for you while you're late. I'll give the receptionist one last smile and go to sit down on one of the guest armchairs by the wall. I sink myself into the black leather inside. It feels oddly relaxing to be able to sit in the lobby after not having been here for so long. Miss Moriano works as efficiently as ever. She quickly brings out a cup of some vanilla iced coffee and a couple of biscuits to go with it. And then she goes back to her desk, just as quickly. My eyes wander down the silent lobby. There's barely any people here, although that's not too surprising considering the time. I sigh, pick up the coffee cup, and lean back in the armchair, ready to wait. As I slowly sip my drink, my mind starts to drift to what Tatsuya had told me while we were walking in the snow. We walk along the road quietly. Even though this isn't the first time we're along in silence like this, somehow something feels different. Maybe it's just the mere fact that we're walking so close to each other, but it seems to affect the mood instantly and make it awkward. I'm hyper aware of Tatsuya's every movement and just how close he is to me as we walk side by side. I wonder if he's at all aware of us being so close. Each time our hands come close to touching, I feel like my heart jumps. It hasn't been that long since I've even been close to a guy, right? I rack my brain, trying to think of something to say, but for once, Tatsuya beats me to it. Heart, do you know the history behind Hakiwara? Oh, no I don't. I look at him, but he doesn't so much as glance at me even once as we walk down the road. It feels strange that he started talking all on his own like that. He usually doesn't say anything unless prompted. It's weird that I don't mind admitting not having looked into the history of our school. Tatsuya wastes no time in launching into a full-on lecture about Hagiwara. Hagiwara University is one of the top 100 universities in the world. I'm sure you knew that coming in, but it also has a history that's hundreds of years long. Hagiwara was originally founded as a neutral zone between supernaturals and humans, but when the supernatural world opted to hide away from humans, Hagiwara chose to continue as it always had. How did, when they chose to opt away from the humans, they were already they were already with the humans. So how did the humans just forget about it? Were they like, did they go... Did they get Men in Blacked? I don't know. Damn, that would suck though. That's when the basement became strictly for supernatural use, and protections were put in place to keep people from wandering in. What happened? Oh well. Tatsuya takes a breath and looks at me. It was actually named for one of the most famous sorcerers in history. She was once a patron of the school. He gives me a slight smile. I guess in a way you've got a deeper connection with Hagiwara than anyone. Even thinking back on it, I still can't figure out what Tatsuya might have meant by that last part. Why would I have some deeper connection to the school than anyone else? Whatever the meaning behind his words, it's something I haven't been able to stop thinking about. Maybe I'm just overanalyzing it? You. Did he mean because of my powers? Hello? I finally register that someone has been calling out to me, but an unfamiliar voice snaps me out of my thoughts. Ugh. I almost jump back when I suddenly see a strange man bending down in front of me, staring into my face. Automatically, I lean back, away from the man. He smiles and stands up. You space out pretty hard, don't you? Who the heck is this? Do I know him? I examine the stranger before me. He's young and beautiful. That much is obvious from the first glance. Actually, he's more like creeping, pervert creeper. That's what I'm getting from him. He's dressed extraordinarily casual for a business meeting with the CEO, so I doubt this guy is a man my dad is supposed to meet. And he's way too close to me right now. Ever heard of personal space? Seemingly undeterred by my complete silence, he continues talking. You've been spacing out for a while now. You don't notice me in front of you at all. The man chuckles. I'm guessing it's a special skill of yours. He stands up straight and looks me right in the eye. I'm Katsunosuke Kasima. Jesus, that's a mouthful. Just Katsu is fine for you. And you are the loveliest thing I've seen in a while. What do you want? I was curious about such a beautiful woman might be thinking about so deeply about that she would completely forget the world around her. I blink, suddenly feeling my cheeks get a little hot. No! Being complimented by someone as attractive out of the blue gets a little flustered. Or gets me a little flustered. Oh, hoo-hoo. But there's something about him, about the way he says it, that irritates me. Surely you must have some business of your own to attend to. I look over his casual clothes again, but Katsunosuke just smiles brightly. For the moment, my only business is learning more about you. Is he seriously trying to pick me up? I see. So you chose to make irritating people your business often then? No, not usually. It's quite rare, in fact. You just seemed interesting enough. Well, aren't I just the luckiest girl then? I shifted my seat, my eyes quickly scanning the room, looking for anything that might help me get out of the situation. At that moment, the elevator doors open with a ding and my dad walks out. Even from my seat, I can see his eyes land on Katsunosuke and then on me. He smiles as he walks up to us. I stand up from my seat as our eyes meet. Mr. Kasima, hello. My father inclines his head over so politely. I see you already met my daughter, Snowy. Dad laughs slightly. Although his eyes remain somber, I try not to frown as I stare at them. So this guy is here on business. Oh, so she's your daughter. She's so cute. Tell me, is she single? What the I can feel the blood drain from my face. He just says that sort of thing right in front of my father? Dad only laughs it off. Alright, since we're running late, why don't we get this meeting underway? He puts a hand on Katsunosuke's shoulder and tries to lead him towards the elevator. Katsunosuke shrugs him off easily, a smile playing on his lips once again. Why not let the lady come with us? This might run long, and I assume you two are close enough, or you wouldn't have called her here in the first place. Dad looks back and forth between Katsunosuke and me. His eyes stop on me, and for a moment he looks pensive. It might not be a bad idea. What? Really? Somehow I managed to contain my excitement within me. Snowy, are you okay with this? Yay? Yes? Yes! Of course! I would be honored to join you. I'm happy that you would entrust me with this. Maintaining my composure just by a thread, I practically screamed in my head with happiness. An actual CEO meeting? I'll get to see how big deals work firsthand. Maybe Katsunosuke isn't all bad. Just because he got you to watch one meeting does not mean anything. You have bad judgment, lady. Dad moves to take the lead, with Katsunosuke and I following right after him. We head into the elevator and all the way up into his office for my first business meeting. When we get into Dad's office, he gestures for us to sit. Automatically, I take a seat in one of the chairs in front of his desk, one that I've always felt was mine. Katsunosuke practically falls into the seat with a gentle thud, not even bothering to sit up straight. Dad turns to me. Before we start, Snowy, he isn't just my dad talking now. This is Rokuro Shinamura, the CEO of Shinamura Industries. I straighten my back and look at him steadily. Mr. Kasima is here because Shinamura Industries is hoping to buy all of the properties that he and his family owns. At his short explanation, Katsunosuke nods with a smile. I'm hoping that this deal will go through, as much as Shinamura Industries does. Probably even more than you. He explains this all with a happy smile, but something about that way he says it leaves me unsettled. I try to fight it off with a frown threatening to form. I see. I give a small nod and my father begins the meeting. This man, Katsunosuke Kasima, acts so strange for a supposed businessman. Then again, from head to toe everything about him seems unusual. I watch him from the corner of my eye while Dad talks. Out of curiosity, is unnatural hair color normal in this game? I've seen it all. Purple to pink, blue, and then light blue. Oh fuck, I didn't read the last one. I was so... Alright. Return. Okay. I just got scared. How important could he possibly be? Almost as if sensing my thoughts, Katsunosuke looks at me briefly and grins. That's what I would have done. He quickly looks back at my father again. Once again, I try not to show any of my uneasiness. How did he even come to be in charge of so many businesses at such a young age? As we discussed before, I want this deal to be kept quiet until it's done. It'll make my life easier that way. Of course, I read over the outline of conditions you wanted met before the meeting. I assure you that I will make certain the process goes smoothly for everyone. Katsunosuke chuckles. As expected from Rokuro Shinamura, of course. Katsunosuke pulls out a folder from somewhere and tosses it on the desk. It slides toward my father, who only looks down on it. When was he even keeping that? Or where was he even keeping that? That's everything on some of the smaller businesses within the family. Some cafes, some small shops, and so on. Plus all the info on the spa chain. Betraying no emotions, Dad quietly flips through the various pages within the folder. A few silent minutes tick by, then he finally looks up at Katsunosuke and smiles. Everything seems to be here, just as you promised. I was quite surprised to see how thorough all the information was, even at the C-form spas. Hearing the familiar name, I can't help but react. Seafoam Spa? Why does that sound so familiar? The name certainly rings a bell, although for a while I can't remember where I might have heard it before. Oh! It's the huge spa chain that's really popular. I glance at Katsunosuke. With how he's dressed, that bright-colored hair, and just his general attitude, it's hard to believe he can own anything any place that's successful. There must be something I'm not seeing. As the two keep talking, I continue to watch their exchange without comment. Carefully, I try to study Katsunosuke, trying to determine if there might be something more to him than what he appears at first glance. He so freely gives away all of this information, while Dad is hardly giving away any. I watch Katsunosuke as he violates everything I know about business, spilling all his company secrets. Just what is this guy's deal? In the end, talks between Dad and Katsunosuke ends up going well past sunset. Throughout the meeting, Katsunosuke continues to offer up information freely, even as my dad remains reserved about how much he reveals. Although that doesn't seem to bother Katsunosuke in the slightest, but just watching my dad work makes me feel more inrogated than I felt in months. Spending a few hours in an actual meeting was so useful. I think I learned more here in one sitting than I did by just reading books for class. Dad glances at the watch and smiles. I think that might be it for tonight, Mr. Kasunima. There's no much else we can discuss until my people look through everything you've given me. Katsunosuke nods at his words, a lazy smile played on his lips. Fair enough. The two men get up to their feet and almost at the same time. As they shake hands, I got up as well, ready to say goodbye to Katsunosuke. Watching Dad today, I realized just how proud I am of him. I hope that one day I can make him proud too, that I can learn how to be as confident and professional like him. A strange weight settles down in my heart, although it's a burden that it's far too familiar to me. I just hope that I'm capable enough to be able to take Dad's place as CEO one day. Katsunosuke suddenly turns to me and holds out a card. Taking a closer look at the card, I quickly realize that it's his business card. I take it without comment, but as I move to put it away, Katsunosuke grins down at me. Flip it over. Okay. I do as I'm told and flip the card over. On the other side, I see something scribbled down in blue ink. Oh, bitch. It's my personal cell number and email if you want to get in touch with me for a date sometime. Right in front of my dad, too. You have no class. You're an ass. As I stand there completely dumbfounded, Katsunosuke laughs. He waves at my equally dumbfounded father and casually strolls out of the office. That guy. Does he have no shame? I stare at the business card in my hand. To say such a thing right in front of my father. Dad clears his throat, snapping me out of my trance. Shall we go to dinner then? Of course, yes. I ignore my burning face and thankfully so does Dad. My father offers me his arm, and we finally make our way out of the Shinamura building. Dad takes me to one of his favorite restaurants, Guovia. I have no idea how to pronounce that name. I've been here once before, but the view and atmosphere of the restaurant are still stunning. I wonder if this is a real place. We're shown right to our table practically the moment. Like, I know the industry isn't real, but is the restaurant real? Because I have no idea. I have never heard of that place before. We're shown right to our table practically the moment we come through the door. It's times like this I actually feel like the daughter of the CEO. As we sit down next to the large glass windows, my attention is immediately drawn to the night view of the city outside. I can feel myself finally calming down after the encounter with Katsunosuke. A waiter introduces herself, takes our orders, and swiftly leaves. Dad looks at me from across the table with a gentle smile. Finally, we have some time together. I'm sorry that I've been so busy, sweetie. It's okay, Dad. I know that with the Kasima deal, things must have been crazy, especially considering how many properties he wants to sell you. And besides, things have been a little busy for me too with my studies. Yes, I can imagine it would be. And speaking of your studies, how are they coming along? Oh, well, there was a little... I stopped myself when I realized what I was about to say. I can't just mention magic to my dad, can I? He watches me with a curious expression. Well, there was a little incident. Yeah, I don't think I should just blurt something like that out. I mean, would he even believe me? I got a little lost at my first day is all, so that was a small adventure. I see. I mean, if I didn't know it was real, I would call whoever told me about magic insane or just delusional. I decided not to tell him about the magic stuff. It's not exactly alive, but it feels like I'm lying to my dad, and it isn't lost on me that so far he hasn't mentioned anything about my eyes. Overall is going well. All my lectures are really interesting, and I'm already learning a lot, even though it's just the start of the school year. Why hasn't he noticed my eye yet? Why hasn't he asked anything about it? I see. Well, that's great to hear, sweetie. You're a smart girl, and you always enjoyed learning, so I figured you'd have no problems transitioning. So, tell me, what did you think of Kasima? The immediate question throws me off completely. I try to choose my next words very carefully. Well, he was a little bit strange, and even though he seemed laid back, he also seemed kind of intimidating. Although I can't quite put my finger on why exactly. Dad laughs at my answer. He was pursuing you pretty hard. Are you going to go on a date with him? While I can tell that he's at least half joking about this, it does make me think about Katsunosuke. I shake my head. He doesn't seem like my type. Kasima may be eccentric, but he is good looking and very wealthy for his young age. So what is it that makes you uninterested in him? Well, if I had to name it, then, besides his lackadaisical attitude, there was something off-putting about him. He nods at my assessment of Katsunosuke. Snowy, while I never tell you to do anything you don't want to, it is customary to wine and dine your clients. It can help create a smoother path to achieving a successful business deal. In fact, it might be good for you to take an active role in this negotiation. It'd be a good experience for you. Do your own independent research on this deal. I'd be willing to hear what you find out about Kasima and if and why you think this deal would be viable for our company. Consider it some homework to prepare for the real thing. I realized that I might have been acting immaturely about the situation. Not even for a moment did I think to look at it from his point. Excuse me. Let me redo that. Not even for a moment did I think to not look at it from a point of view where I could help Shinamura Industries. I never thought about it like that at all. Even though I mumble it, Dad seems to have heard me perfectly. You don't have to push yourself, sweetie. He smiles gently at me. No, Dad, I'm going to do it. I'll take on this project in my spare time and see what I can do to help you and to gain some experience. If I want to be a CEO, getting to see the inner workings of a deal this big would be an invaluable experience. Well then, I look forward to seeing what you uncover in the decisions you make. After that, the waiter brings out our orders and we fall into a comfortable silence. Even without words, it's nice to be able to enjoy a quiet family dinner with my dad. I miss this more than I realized. Oh, Dad, how's Kaio doing? she's doing well, and he suddenly trails off. His eyes shift away from me, staring instead out of the window. Dad? He starts talking, although his eyes still refuse to turn back to me. There's something I need to tell you. It's about your mother. Whatever it was I was expecting, it wasn't this. Even the mention of her feels like a punch to the stomach. I start to feel like I might throw up. Desperately, I fight off the urge to make some excuse and just run off to the bathroom. Fortunately, Dad doesn't seem to notice my internal struggle as he goes on. Though there's pain on his face, his next words come out as empty and almost robotic. Your mother left. She said she had her reasons for it. I'm sorry, I can't tell you any more than that. I don't know what to say. I hide my hands that had begun to shake under the table. No, I can't think about her, about what happened here. Even with all this open space, I start to feel like the walls are beginning to close in around me. Mother, no. Shizuka. She... I grip onto the tablecloth, hoping it might stop the shaking, but it spreads uncontrollably. I find myself shivering all over. No, don't think about it. Don't think about her. Dad looks to me for an answer and frowns. Snowy, are you alright? I think I'm just coming down with a fever. I forgot my umbrella the other day when it rained, so I think I just got sick from that. His frown deepens. His dad stands up and holds out his hand for me. Come on, I'll take you home now. Dad takes my shaking hand in his and helps me steady myself as he leads me to the door. Alright, well, that's the end of chapter 2, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I think I did a little bit better in reading, even though I'm still sucking at it. But, what did you guys think? Tell me in the comments below. So, that's about it. I'm not really going to discuss about it. It's pretty much, it was more of a filler chapter, more than a get on to the next section chapter. But, other than that, that's all. That's really all my feelings on this chapter. But, thank you all for watching. If you have a comment for me, leave it in the comment section below. If you liked the video, hit the like button for me. And stay prehistoric, my buddies. I'll see all you lovelies in the next video.